Hello and welcome to an amazing podcast. This is D, Modi, Matt, and Cecile, and we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, episode Panda vs. Mechamaru, Dawn of Awesomeness. What did you guys think? And before we get started,
yeah,
Matt, I need to quiz you.
Okay.
Based on this episode,
I'm ready.
Of the characters we've seen, who do we know is not a panda?
Oh, gee, what are my options?
All of the characters we've seen up to this point, who do we know is not a panda?
Well, I think the only one we don't know is Panda. For all we know, Mechamaru could be a panda. He never said he wasn't a panda. Wait, how was I wrong? That was right.
The correct answer was panda, sir. Like, that was the easy
He did
one.
answer with panda.
That was my answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ruined it. You ruined your own bit.
Damn it. Damn it. Oh well.
You wanted a response from me, but you didn't get it.
Yes.
Shame on you, Dalton.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Okay.
I was lagging.
Imagine sabotaging your own joke.
Yeah. I think we should.
I had to do it to make the other jokes I say this podcast sound funnier.
That's a very low bar. That's a very low bar.
I guess the standards are low today.
All right.
I mean, they always are.
My killer sense of humor aside, what did you guys think of the episode? I loved it.
The lineup was so perfect.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I normally wouldn't like this kind of episode, but I did. So I don't know.
Spoilers.
Same.
This is my first 10 out of 10 episode.
Thank you. But
wow.
You're supposed to say that at the end.
It was that good. I can't wait.
All right.
I mean, Cecile.
Yeah.
What's your rating for this episode?
So early
I'm only
on.
asking because we already. Huh?
So early in the game, but all right, 10 out of 10. What else were we expecting?
I mean, the only reason I'm asking you is because I already knew the answer, so it's not really, it's not.
I
really
mean,
much of a spoiler.
no, there's actually a reason why this is a 10 out of 10. It's the bitch slap from Panda.
Oh, true. True. That's true.
This was only so good because both Mechamaru and Panda were very entertaining characters.
Yes.
So that I feel like if it was more uninteresting characters, I wouldn't really like it as much.
Okay, so the reason I gave this a 10 because, first of all, interactions between Yuji and Toto, super awesome. And I forgot to mention this last one, but their initial meeting is almost point for point how JoJo fans become friends. Like, you walk up to a JoJo fan, ask them if a JoJo fan asks you what your favorite anime is, and you respond JoJo's, that's when the tears start. If you respond with the exact same part as them, that's when the flashbacks start. When me and Modi first met each other and said favorite anime JoJo's, that was it.
So I'm still more of an anti-hero with all you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have the really fun character dynamic between those two. You had an awesome fight between two really cool characters, good fight animation. We learned more about the two characters I was really excited to see. And all in all, clean fight. Excellent episode.
Can I just say a personal thing that I think kind of... I don't like how the episodes are only 20 minutes long. I mean, I know that's just how it is. But I always I almost wish they released the episodes as arcs. Because to me, it's I have to wait again. And then I kind of see why they do repeating information so much. Because it's you haven't seen this in a week, so we're going to flash back to last time. But they didn't do that this time, but... I'm just saying in general, I kind of see that because last time I binged the entire series up to the point we were watching.
Mm-hmm.
But that's true.
But then again, what if I want to binge watch it? I don't like either. I just feel like the general format that a lot of shonen anime does this. Mm-hmm. I think kind of hurts it, and I don't want to say that's the fault of the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of wish the episodes were longer, but I understand why they're not. So
then go back to Netflix, you binger.
Well, no, I think the answer to his dilemma is to wait for each arc to finish.
No, but when they do, then I get annoyed by the flashback part. Because then it's this
you
information.
You just have a problem with everything, don't you?
I do have a problem with everything. I just wish.
I don't think there's any.
I get what you're saying because because I know there were a couple of anime that have been experimenting with that. So, for example, the recent Dragon Ball Z series, the first 2 arcs were originally movies, and they flowed really well. The phrase "really well" in air quotes. And I know Demon Slayer did its recent arc as a movie, which was apparently the greatest movie in Japanese history. Eat a dick,
Probably
Kurosawa,
is.
go to hell. But I can definitely agree with that, and I would definitely see arcs being presented as like really well,
just really long episodes,
being like really interesting. Just don't pull a Fate Heaven's feel.
I'm just imagining if I had to watch Breaking Bad in 20-minute segments, like across several weeks.
Is the problem the length of the episodes? Because to me, the way you described it, it's like, well, any show that doesn't get the whole season released at once, you would have a problem with, right?
Well, it's like it forces them to create this scenario in which they have to cram in a lot of stuff. Like, here's what happened previously, but also it's kind of like short at the same time. So it's kind of it's just like I feel like it's formatting, or the general format of like a lot of these anime is kind of works against it.
So, question: have you ever? So we've seen that Netflix has gotten a lot of like original anime and et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever noticed that those shows have you ever seen any of those shows having a different sort of structure where they have a better momentum because they understand that you're constantly watching it in full? Because like I know Beastars had a similar setup where when it was released in the West or worldwide, it was released all at once on Netflix. And I'm thinking back at it, I remember it having a way better, having really good pacing. So I wonder if that's sort of a result of them knowing that, okay, this is going to be on Netflix. We don't have to worry about an audience having to remember what happened last week. We can go ham with it.
It could be, but I haven't really watched much stuff on Netflix as far as anime goes. Sorry, go on, Mediva.
I feel like it's probably I think it's mainly has to do with the story itself. Like Beastars was the kind of story that like you were left on a cliffhanger like every episode, and it was adapted off the manga, so I imagine the manga was like that. But the only original Netflix anime that I've seen is Devilman Crybaby, and I think you might be right. Like the momentum was strong on that show, even though I didn't even end up liking it that much by the end. Like when I was watching it, I couldn't really stop. So I think you might have a point there.
I wonder if it also sort of boils down to like weekly series versus like monthly series. Because I know when you're reading a series in those two formats, like reading a monthly series is so much different than reading a weekly series. Like, for example, Tokyo Ghoul versus Attack on Titan. Like, Tokyo Ghoul's story moves so fast, and it makes sense because you're constantly binging it week after week after week. Whereas Attack on Titan moves more deliberately, because I'm assuming you have the full month to sort of just soak in that chapter.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Attack on Titan is actually pretty fast paced too. But anyway, that's
neither here nor there.
Off of Jujutsu Kaisen, so yeah.
Yeah, we can get back to this later on in the episode, but I feel like we should talk about the actual content of the episode, and then we can talk more about like formatting and other like stuff like that, broader stuff.
Mecha versus Panda awesomeness.
Oh
yeah.
Who do we want to talk about first, MECHAMARU or Panda?
I like them both so much.
Okay, let's go with MECHAMARU, aka the reincarnated version of the villain from Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay, whoa, okay. MECHAMARU, sorry, I don't like him, but He's literally a spin-off version of Hyakimaru from Dororo.
Oh, I
Do you recognize that? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Well, this is a reference to another anime, but oh my god. The hair, first of all, it's the black, like, samurai kind of, like, kind of hair. His clothes, I can imagine him wearing traditional, like, I don't know what kind of clothes they wore back in, like, those days. The periods, yeah. But, oh my god. And then
but isn't Dororo set in the present?
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
No, you're thinking of Doro Hedoro. She's talking about Dororo.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. Yeah,
Shrimp
I see.
Modi.
Gotcha.
It's not that hard.
Oh my god. Keep up.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Stupid
with, like,
asshole.
it has a very similar premise of Hyakimaru's, like, background story with, like, not having any body because of a curse that was placed on him against his will and stuff like that, right? And so I'm just like, I wasn't sure if I was into that. Like, I don't know if this was meant to be a reference. Because we know Jujutsu Kaisen author has a lot of references in, like, past episodes. I heard that there was an Oikawa cutout board in one of the previous episodes. I didn't notice that. But anyways, that's about I had to say. But Mechamaru, oh my god.
So,
The sparkles! Sorry.
I completely disagree with
that.
both of you. I think Mechamaru is really cool, and I really liked his
No.
character.
I agree. My only issue with him, and this is something I hope gets expanded on, is get out of the freaking tub, build yourself an Iron Man mech suit, and start kicking ass, dude. If that's the direction they
Iron
take
Man?
his character, yeah, because, like, he could easily, like, he built himself a puppet autonomous robot. His whole, like, goal is to, like, him going out and being around his class. And I feel like that would be a really epic way to sort of, like, complete that whole character arc, or add, like, to, like, flesh out his character, like, complete his character.
I think it makes it interesting about him, though, is that, like, he's got this conflict where he's, like, he can't really directly interact with his, like, classmates, but that's, like, exactly what he wants to do. And, like, because of this, he kind of has, like, this, like, distance between them.
But here's the thing, he's not a full character, and what I mean by full is that he has a character that's going to influence the show and later arcs and stuff like that. He doesn't have that kind of character.
Well, that's
from what
I'm
we
gonna bring that up because I think it's another case of this is what I'm worried about. I have a feeling it's another case that's similar to My Hero, where they bring a very, like, interesting character with an interesting design, and I like his whole, like, gimmick of, like, using puppets and stuff like that. I really like that whole thing going on, but I feel like this is going to be a pretty, like, one-off character, even though they hint at like oh, potentially he's got, like, more going on. I don't think they're going to explore it much. I think they're just going to kind of move on after this.
I think that is a very safe bet, and that's kind of unfortunate.
And that's why that's why I think, like, you could not like his character because you could see that happening, but I think the character in itself, I feel like he's got a very interesting setup that they're just not going to do anything with.
Let me say this: I would pay $60 for a Mechamaru action figure.
$60.
I would too. Maybe.
Exactly.
Actually, no, that's
that
too much.
Like
Maybe
the
50.
highest praise of a character I can give. I would buy their action figure. That's how you know.
I like how when he talks, his, like, mouth just opens like a puppet. Like, it's not. I also like it, just, like, kind of small stuff, and I like his, like, whole, like, wooden design rather than just, like, being straight up robot.
I love how he's a wooden firebender too.
Yeah, that's cool. I think his attacks
true.
are interesting. How he's got, like, cannons inside him, and it's like.
I actually didn't really like Mechamaru, and I didn't think, like, okay, so first of all, his backstory didn't really, like, hit for me. Like, I just think it felt a little bit too. It just didn't feel real. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think if I think about it, it's probably because it was more like tell rather than show, you know? And in fact, the post-credit scene, I don't know if you guys watched it this episode.
I did, yeah.
The post-credit scene made me feel more for Mechamaru than the actual episode did. Because, like, it actually showed, you know, what it's like through his eyes, right? Whereas in the episode, he's just like, yeah, you know, I was, you know, he kind of, like, monologue, like, oh, I was born no skin, can't even step out into moonlight, blah 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 blah, and that's why I hate
reminded me
you
of the SpongeBob character is like, I was born with glass bones. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, for me, not only is the way that his backstory was presented just didn't really hit for me, but also he's just kind of an asshole. Like what? So you're just you're gonna hate Panda because
he's an asshole that makes
is living
sense,
his best
though.
life.
He's an asshole whose motivation.
No,
makes
I
sense.
I don't think it makes. I think it's like
to me he makes more sense than some of the other characters. Like you say, it's unrealistic, but literally one guy.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
So I don't think it makes sense because I think it's way too. It's just like no person is actually that unself-aware. You know what I mean? Like no person is like that simple-minded. Like, oh, this like. You know, like
I feel like
I don't get it. It just
on
doesn't.
Constant fire though, and you have no limbs and like only one arm, like no legs and one arm. I feel like you would be pretty salty a lot of the time. I feel like you'd be
but like
cranky.
But like to have a vendetta against Panda, like do you not have better
he has a
things to do?
vendetta
Like,
against him because like he has to use like a puppet to like interact with the world. Like he has to use this interact thing because he literally cannot fucking leave his weird like bath chamber, which I thought like looks pretty cool as like an aesthetic, but he can't like leave there, and Panda's just kind of like out in the open as like a puppet that can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, but it's not like Panda is like bothering him or anything. Okay, so if it was a situation where Panda was like, I don't know, a bully to him or something in some way, or like had taunted him in some way, then yeah, that makes sense. If Panda had even taunted him a little, then all of it makes sense, right? But it's just so completely unprovoked for no reason. I just don't feel it.
I think the only issue. Okay, so I know I hate Hyakumaru, so I should be technically be agreeing with Modi on this. But the reason I can say is that I don't want to agree with Modi on this is because I think it's just a kind of personal perspective on being able to see from another character's perspective. And so Mechamaru, I don't know, I don't think we can understand like his actual struggles in life in the sense that he's going through something that we are not, in the sense like in a way that we can move our body as freely as we want, so we won't understand the jealousy that he feels.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I can't.
But also, okay, so here's another point though. Wouldn't he feel? I just feel like him targeting Panda is just kind of weird. Like with that jealousy, he could just as easily feel it towards other people, right? Like look at Yuji. I would think he would be even more like, you know, like angry towards Yuji because Yuji's just some kid who came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like the difference though is
Yuji chose to have like curse energy, like he chose to eat the finger and all that, right? Whereas Panda is just, he didn't choose anything. He was just, you know, his master or whatever just, you know, made him into a puppet or whatever it is that he is, you know? Like it feels weird. Like it just feels a little bit contrived.
Maybe it's just misdirected anger.
It definitely is misdirected anger. But like that's the point of his kid. Like I feel so with Mechamaru, I do agree with you. I think in the episode it was like a little bit, it did the same thing I hate that the anime does, where it's like quick scene where they have this memory or whatever.
Backstory.
Very quick backstory, just so you feel about him for this arc. And I agree with you. I think the post credit scene did a much better job at like subtly hinting about like how his day to day is very like alienating to him and very like kind of tough to get through without being like outright telling you. But I feel like if this character was around more, if like let's say he was part of the main cast. Not saying I'm saying I want him to be, but they could have like made you understand more. I feel like with the other characters though, I feel like they have the same thing where they have these really quick backstories, and not all of them are like make sense. Like if you look at his other classmates, like some of them are just like assholes for the sake of being assholes, or they have like some event to them. But whereas this guy, he was thrown in a very unfortunate situation out of like a situation that he cannot control. If that happens to you, you're bound to be pretty spiteful towards people because
are you also calling Toto an asshole? How dare you?
But also, okay, so I feel like that also even makes the point I was making even stronger, because like there's so many other people who you could be like, there's people who are assholes for no reason. So why don't you spend your time like being mad at them and hating them rather than hating like one of the chillest dudes in the whole series.
Was he
Panda.
actually
You know what I mean?
targeting
Like-
him though? First of all, he doesn't know Panda
yeah,
that
he
well.
came for him.
Like-
yeah, he came for him. He came for Panda specifically.
No, but
didn't he?
didn't they send him to
Or
help?
maybe-
What's her face? The witch girl.
The witch, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what
Oh,
I honestly
okay.
just realized?
Okay.
I think he just
The
ran
sis-
across him. And he's like, "God, I fucking hate you because you are like
Oh.
me, but you don't have to like
Better.
be a man
Okay.
that has like one arm put in a bathtub." You know?
Okay,
You
if
can
that's
get
if
hugs.
that's
I can't.
Yeah, he can't get hugs.
If-
It's so sad. He can't.
Well, let's
Like-
talk about...
Yeah.
Wait, huh?
Panda can gets probably more hugs in this show, more hugs than anyone else in the entire show. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
He's the most huggable character. I feel like if there's a huggable tier list, Panda
and he
would be the
deserves
top.
it.
But I
He
do love
deserves
Panda
it.
too. So
Yeah.
But
What, who-
you know, I just realized the cast from the sister school seems exponentially more interesting and a way better cast. Than
honestly,
what we have.
though, with a few exceptions, I would agree. With a few exceptions, actually, maybe
Yeah,
not.
I think you're right.
Because I think there's some characters I don't know enough about yet that I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes over. Like,
'Cause you have,
what's
like-
her face's sister? Like Maki's sister, right?
yeah,
Mai.
think-
Both Mai and the dude that can't see, or has his eyes closed or whatever. I feel like
Yeah.
both of them. I don't really like them, and same thing with the witch.
Oh,
like I
God,
think
I
the witch
hate
girl,
them.
I'm very indifferent
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah.
those three, I don't really know enough about to like them, but I do like Nekamaru and Todo on like a funny sense.
like I feel like watching that cast though come together to be a functioning
Yeah.
team is would be a lot more entertaining than what we have right now. 'Cause,
I
like,
agree.
With the
There's a lot of
current
room for
cast-
growth.
Like with the current cast, they're all like chill. They're all like, yeah, we're friends. Boom. Like they don't have personalities that really would come into contact and come into like contrast or what was it conflict with each other. With this one, I'm interested into seeing like how they interact with one another.
I agree 100%. I think that there's a lot of room for growth, and that allows for a lot more like stuff to happen. That's just not like just fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, which I'm confused. Which one are you guys saying there's a lot of room for growth?
The
Tokyo or Kyoto?
the other school.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Whereas
Yeah.
this are the group we know, they're already kind of all best bud. I know they all like don't trust Mr. Kaisen, but
You
yeah.
His name is the simplest one.
He has some intentionally being an asshole. But
Kaisen-san. Yeah.
they all like already love each other so much. Like it seems like they just met, but like because they have been for a while and they get along because they're like good people. But this is a bunch of like misfits and assholes trying to get together. I feel like that'd be more entertaining to see them grow together.
Yeah, I agree with
In
you.
fact, I wanted there to be a moment between Panda and Mechamaru where they're like, I mean, they almost got there, but then Mechamaru just kind of backs out, which kind of also makes sense as a character. But like,
All right. This
yeah,
would be
okay,
the greatest
so-
anime in the history of man if there's a moment where we find out that Mechamaru's first hug is from Panda. I want that to be a thing.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Okay, so this brings me to one of my classic great Modi theories because
Oh my God.
you guys said that Mechamaru, like this is pretty much all we're gonna get of Mechamaru.
Yeah.
And I totally disagree. I think we're gonna get more. I really think that
Cecile's
ca-
just,
any
like,
character-
beaming in the background right now. It's like,
yeah, okay.
Don't worry,
Wait till they
don't
find
worry.
out. Wait till they find
Yeah.
I
out.
have yeah.
Oh,
What I think is that any character who they bothered to show, for me, I see this arc as a arc to introduce the cast of the series, and I think any character who they bothered to show and go into a backstory is going to be a character that
My hero.
is like
Oh, sorry.
is going to be a character that is likely to be like bigger or like at least more prevalent in the series later on.
All right,
There's-
So
real quick.
Agree and
so
disagree.
To respond to that, with you being caught up to My Hero Academia, how did they handle the purple-haired mind control guy?
Oh, yes, you're gonna find out in you're gonna find out in season 5. He gets expounded upon a lot. So like,
okay,
that's what I'm saying. You just have to keep going. Like these things, these are really long running series. They all are, and like, and this is the very beginning. This is like the par for the course.
It
you know,
shouldn't be though. I think in season, like, I don't know. It just still feels like I'm not going to be able to see this character until like 6 seasons from now. What?
I think okay. So I think
I'm not going to care about him.
The reason I'm so confident when I say it is just that, like, with experience watching shonen series, a lot of the time they follow the same patterns, and a lot of the time this type of arc, when you bring in another group of characters who's not the main cast, and you have them like interact in like a thing in the beginning of the series, typically the second arc, it's not ever just like for nothing, especially the characters that they bother to spend time on. It's not guaranteed, but it's likely, I think, that they're gonna show up more later on.
Although I will say that Kaisen is kind of following the same like issue a lot of shonen have, where the antagonists are like way more interesting than the main characters. Like,
it's not with My Hero. Not My Hero is not the same.
Like, if you told me there was a spin-off series about like the sister school cast, I would watch that day one, and I would probably buy the DVD.
Yeah, I would too. The sister school, but also I don't see the sister school cast as antagonists. I mean, they are in this arc, but I think in the over the long term, they're like the good guys, right?
Yes.
Which is another reason why I think they're gonna, because this is gonna pretty much turn into a war, I'm guessing, right, between them and, you know, the cursed spirits. So yeah, I definitely see Mechamaru showing up some more. And finally, just because of what you said, which is that like they kind of left it a little bit open-ended between Mechamaru and Panda. So I feel like, you know, there's gonna be more there.
I don't think I still don't think they will. I think they're gonna bring like this class again, like another time, like one more time, and then it's gonna be like the last we see of them. Except for
this will just be another thing.
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
It feels very. I hate bringing up Naruto, but nothing exists in a vacuum. And I think it's a really good point of reference for like judging the series. But it feels like they would follow the same route as the Sand Ninja from Naruto, where they're really important arc, they disappear, they pop up for like one fight scene, and then duck their heads back like again for like another century or so.
When it's like convenient.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
No, but with like let's go back to My Hero, for example, because because they're both, My Hero I feel like is like one of the most like shonen anime out there. We don't even know characters and like much about characters in the main like class, like class 1A. We barely know anything about the characters in the other class that they spent like an arc with.
Yeah, I mean, so I've said this before, but like My Hero, one thing you have to keep in mind is that this seems like it's deep into the series, but in the grand scheme of these types of series, it's still at the beginning. So that's there's nothing more I can say.
It's like a slog to get there, though, at least for me.
Let me say this: I feel like, as opposed to My Hero, Jujutsu has a much more manageable cast size.
That's
I think
also
they
true.
handle their cast.
I agree with that too.
Way better than most shonen. Like, way better.
I agree, yeah.
But it's just a fear I have. I could be totally wrong, which I probably am, but it's just a fear I have that they're going to continue to bring up really like cool characters that I want to see more of, and then just kind of drop them.
Don't worry, Matt. After this, we are getting no more cool characters. All of them are going to be super generic, super boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all downhill from any of them after this. You're good.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm being sarcastic. Yeah. Did I just say no? I'm
I was about to
yes, I
say.
am being sarcastic.
Cecile was about to flame you.
Yeah. Like,
manga
even
reader.
if you believe... Shut up. Even if you believe that, I was gonna be like, "Ooh, there's this character I really like." Actually, no, there's this character I really like really, really like, nearly more than Gojo. That's a really tough call.
Wow.
In this
Wait,
series, and
Cecile's just like trying not to like come over here and slap me with a manga volume.
yeah, okay, I really don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not. So all I'm gonna say is like, I really like this character, but his background story was like slapped in my face, and I was like, dang, I want more of it. So I opened my hand to the author and I'm like, please give me more. And the author said no. The author said no more. That's it. And I was just like, I was so upset.
This character is a character we haven't seen yet?
We've seen.
Oh, okay.
Them.
All right.
I shouldn't say their genders or else it's gonna...
Yeah, don't say it.
One thing I thought was a bit... I thought Mechamaru was going to be a lot more powerful than they... Because he ends up getting bodied by Panda, even though he's like 2 tiers above him. And I guess that's because he underestimated him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Never
which makes sense, but
underestimate
it's still
Panda.
like...
And
Yeah.
let's be honest, his ultimate was kind of weak. Hyakimaru's like canon thing. Oh my god. But here's the thing. The one thing that killed me was the sparkles that I wanted to talk about this for so long. The sparkles that happened after the cannon. You know what it reminded me of? It was literally Kill la Kill's animation for the transformation of the suits. It's the stars and the bling. Oh.
I totally missed that. I don't even know.
Yeah, I missed it.
She was talking about the impact frames and some of the build up for the attack.
Oh, okay.
I missed it. I'll have to go back and check that out.
So, just real quick, impact frames are like... You ever notice in anime when they're about to do something really big and the screen just like flashes black and white for a quick moment?
I've never noticed, literally. I've actually never noticed.
Oh my god, like, you guys need to level up. Like, you guys need to level up. Like, I'm here analyzing the animations, Cecile's handling the music, which music pretty good this episode. Like,
wait, I'm coming with the top tier predictions. What are you talking about?
Oh, not really. Sorry, Modi. Technically I'm the one who's coming up with...
Well, I hope you do, since you read the frickin' thing.
Yeah.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
No.
We call it predictions.
That's called memorization.
Speaking of the music, right? Oh my god, I know I didn't have high expectations for the soundtrack in this, but suddenly that Japanese rap that was going
cool. I noticed that
behind the gorilla mode. Oh my god, I was fangirling because I'm such a big fan of like Japanese hip hop and shit like that. Oh my god, that
have either of you guys seen God of High School?
No.
Oh, okay. It reminded me a lot of God of High School. That was an anime that came out last year, and that reminded me a lot of it. That's the second time that I actually noticed the OST because of that. So I guess maybe they might be on a roll. But I will still say I don't think it's anything special.
It's not revolutionary.
No, I will say, Cecile, quick question: do you think it's cheating to like rank the track with vocals a little bit higher than the other tracks? Because I feel like whenever I hear like an insert song with actual like spoken lyrics, it piques my attention a lot faster than the other ones.
I disagree.
I think actually
it depends.
I agree with you, D, but I think it's probably just because she probably like is like used to like she's like trained to listen to music and stuff, and otherwise I'm the same. Like I literally the only reason I noticed it is because there were words, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Really?
But, yeah.
No, I think it had to do with the beat and the way
it felt like fresh, like oh shit, that is
fresh.
A fight. Yeah,
that's such. I
know. I'm such a cool kid.
I love that word.
No,
fresh.
He's a cool cat, yo.
What's up, fellow anime fans? It's me.
I think the reason that this music definitely like spoke out more is definitely similar to the rap from Devilman Crybaby with the guy and the like beatbox and stuff like that. That was kind of refreshing in a sense. And you definitely don't hear just like straight up rap without any instrumentals and just the beatbox. So I thought that was unique to Devilman Crybaby. So I guess this kind of replicated that, but definitely wasn't as impactful in the series. It wasn't useful to the plot or anything. It was just a cool background song. Yeah.
I mean, I think what Devilman Crybaby did is like is kind of in another level because it was actually part of the actual plot and the characters and the stories. But this was just kind of background music.
There's only 2 series that I have ever watched that has used music to play a role in either character development or plot emphasis and stuff like that, and that's Devilman Crybaby and The Promised Neverland.
So, Cecile, quick question.
Yes.
guitar. So I've been noticing. So for you guys at home, guitar is like my favorite instrument. I don't listen to any form of music unless it has a sick guitar solo. My iPhone playlist is depressing, but I've been noticing that there are nowhere near enough like fight scenes with a really good guitar like background song to it. Like One Punch Man did that slick. Like a lot of the guitar OSTs in that anime were
One Punch
such
Man, yeah.
fire. But I like it always defaults to like rap and orchestral. Do you think like those are more like better fit for like most animation, or do you think it's just like a matter of like practicality, like guitar is a lot more hard to pull off, sort of?
No, I think the song has to depend on the genre of music and then how it plays a role in either what is happening, like the actions inside the animation that's going on. And so I can see why they used hip hop and rap for certain specific scenes and orchestral music for other emotional scenes, etc. But with guitar, I love guitar. I don't play it, and I barely know anything about it, but I do think guitar riffs should be more, like, majorly used in soundtracks and etc. But I think in our generation of music right now, we're focusing more on electric synth sounds, and we're think doomed. That's more... Excuse me, what?
We're doomed.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Get him.
I think accessibility is going to be more of a key focus when it comes to choices of music, because symphonic music, you could just hire your local orchestra. And with electric music, you could literally have one composer in your company and just ask them to compose this kind of genre of music, give them a sample, and then make them work with it. Guitar, that composer would have to know guitar and other instruments in order to play as well. You could hire local guitarists, but if they don't know how to create their own riff and stuff like that, then that might be a little more difficult to access. That's my take on it. This has
been Music with Cecilia. Part of the show.
I didn't even use any musical frames. I did not go into music theory. I didn't go into any of that. I just went into instrumentation and logically accessible or not.
Okay, yeah, that was interesting.
That was literally the most high IQ statement in this entire podcast episode, by the way.
That's not true. Dude, you were literally talking about some kind of like frames that they used for action, impact, and stuff like that. I'm just here talking about instruments.
Nerd.
I think the intro and the outro for the last I feel like this one it's weaker than the last one. Does anybody agree with me?
We actually talked about it.
Oh, you did?
2 episodes ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we pretty much agreed that the song for the first one, for the opening song for season 1 was better than the opening song for season 2, but the visuals for season 2 were better. And
I like the visuals better,
and then it's
though.
the reverse.
Especially just the outro, where it's like it's more of the like sort of sloppy style of animation.
Although I will say that
we're talking about the okay.
No, I was going to say, like, I think the current opening is starting to grow on me really fast. Like,
no.
Really?
It is growing on me, but it's growing on me too, but I still don't think the song itself is as good as season 2. So I mean as the season 1 song. And I also think the season 2 ending is just like reigns supreme over everything though. So
yeah.
Oh wait. Can I mention that this might be surprising to some, but I've definitely been like hitting it off with the what's it called, intermission, like sound part thing.
Yes.
The second part, that one is so good. I don't know if it's already playing in my head, but oh my god,
it fits the show.
That was
well
such
too.
an interesting intermission. I love that. It didn't have any like unique animations, but I love the music. Sorry.
Yeah, like the little like commercial like after these messages, like little like sting. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, but I like the music, but the animation should have done something with the animation. You know what has the best intermission animation?
One Piece?
One is Haikyuu. I love the little birds and the cats,
Yeah,
and then like the
Haikyuu's is
little
good.
yeah. And then the second one is actually Skate the Infinity, which is recent, but the intermissions is like little cute clips of each character being like stupid, and I just want more of that. I just want more of that. But Jujutsu Kaisen is like the music is really good, but there's nothing interesting about anything else about that part.
Also, real quick, for those of you not in the super deep in the anime season, Skate the Infinite is basically if Free, the swimming anime, tried to branch out into the JoJo's fan base.
No. I think it is a very individualized series that is unique
You are having
to
trouble getting through that
skateboarders.
statement.
Yeah, but I think it's a very individualized series that it's unique to skateboarding, and I just want. It was so good. It's more like Banana Fish in all cases. It's not similar to Free. I think it's more similar to Banana Fish, and that's because they had similar, I think, same animators or something like that.
But
yeah.
Back to
Okay,
Kaisen.
so
we should talk about
Yes.
Panda because we didn't talk about Panda at all. Yeah,
yeah.
God,
Baby
I love
Panda.
or not a panda,
Enough said.
baby panda.
Yes.
Wait, so does he have the soul of like a gorilla inside of him?
Yes, it's the
Kind-
Oni-chan.
yes.
Is the
Pretty
gorilla
much.
like conscious at all, or is it just like the?
No.
I think it's just a
Okay.
mode. It's like gorilla mode, panda mode, and
Okay.
then older sister mode.
Does that mean he has like
Actually-
three extra lives then? Like if one gets disabled?
I think he
Technically-
has. I think he has.
Yes.
In a way. And so that also brings me back. I forgot to mention this, but I think one of you guys said earlier that like he is as strong as Mechamaru, and I think Mechamaru is actually way stronger. It's just the fact that he has like pretty much 3 lives, you know.
Yeah.
Like he would have gotten like
He would have
destroyed
killed him like
from
3
the very
times,
beginning.
like over.
Yeah.
He would
Exactly,
He
exactly.
wouldn't even have gotten into the fight. He would have just died as soon as he got that hit. He got hit by that first shot.
Yeah, exactly. So I am curious. I do want to know more about his big sister mode because maybe that's like a mode where like he's able to take damage or something. I don't know, but yeah. So Panda, he is a reanimated corpse, and that's
a
interesting.
puppet.
He's a puppet, yeah.
And yeah, well, so he's not a reanimated corpse.
No.
They didn't say that.
No, he's
So
a puppet. I
they
think he got
said
actually
he's
offended
a-
when he was.
Did
called
I
corpse.
imagine that?
So he's basically a one. You know, like the principal had a bunch of those like plush toys that had like that were sort of like autonomous and stuff.
Yeah.
Panda was a version of that that's basically has a soul or like sentience.
Oh,
And can
okay. So
age.
he was a toy.
Mhm.
Or like he okay, got you. Because I was thinking like, wait a minute, if he's a reanimated corpse, that means that like the dude, the master, like found a dead baby panda, which is
No.
kind of disturbing.
That's dark.
yeah,
dark,
exactly.
He's kind of live baby
Okay,
panda.
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense then.
See, I hate the like. I'm not a big fan of the naming conventions because they just said like cursed doll. It's easy. You instantly know what that is.
Yeah.
But the fact that they call it a corpse implies that it was originally a living organism.
Exactly.
Like, the problem with Jujutsu sometimes is the terminology doesn't make sense for what it is. Like, curses are just demons.
That actually reminds me of something. In this episode, they said, I don't know if they've mentioned this in previous episodes, but this is the first time I noticed it, where they said that it was Todo who said that cursed energy is like pretty much comes from whatever your negative energy, negative emotions are, I guess. They've probably talked about this before. Mm-hmm. But then I wonder, like, what if you just don't have any negative emotions? Are you just not able to use curse energy?
I think that's why a lot of them look dead inside. Well, not a lot of them, but like a lot of them are very edgy and like dead inside. So they use those like dark emotions like to essentially fuel
You know what would be interesting? I have zero expectation that the series will go down that path, but it would be interesting if like the series also started to explore like the effect of having to always just be like aligned with negative energy and like just pretty much having to be negative in order to like, you know, do your job, you know. So
yeah, that would be so cool. I just know they're not going to go into that. That's
yeah,
why I kind of thought
wouldn't go there.
Mechamaru
And
was
I don't-
interesting.
I think the DID
peek
is a
at
bit of
that,
a
yeah.
stretch
but not
because
really.
none of
Yeah.
the other cores
yeah, and I don't
had
necessarily
any,
even
like,
want it, but it's just like
personality or
it would be
any,
interesting
like,
if it happened.
consciousness. It was just like
And
what
with
he
curse
said,
energy,
different mode.
About the
I do
negative, like,
feel
emotions and
like-
stuff like that. That
I
makes
feel
me
like
wonder
I
why like
can't
other
really say
people
that
can't
for
like
Mechamaru
access their
because
cursed energy. If a
it
lot of
kind
humans
of felt
are able
like
to
that
tap
was his
into the,
character
like,
quirk. That was the thing that
negative
made him
hatred or something
unique
like-
from
not
the other
hatred,
characters,
that's not
kind
the
of.
character. But like
Yeah.
Maki, for example, angst.
Angst.
Like Maki, for example, I'm still upset that she wasn't given any cursed energy, though that does add to her character a bit. But like,
Mhm.
I'm sure she has negative feelings.
yeah,
That why
I wonder.
Then
Yeah.
it's just the fact that she's not born with cursed energy. So I think cursed energy is very separate from negative energy, but it feeds off it, in my understanding of
Mhm.
it.
That does make
That
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But still, if they
Um,
explored that aspect of characters that like, because it's curses. Like I like the whole idea that you're powerful, but you have this trade off of like what comes with that power. Just like so far, I don't feel like any other characters have really like shown that except
What?
for Panda and Mechamaru.
Excuse me, Yuji, the main character, Mr. Kaisen, has to die?
Oh! Other than him too. But I'm saying the rest of the cast. Yeah.
Plus, he doesn't technically have to die. That's more of a personal choice. He isn't like forced into that.
Oh, yeah, true.
Like
Yeah.
if he really wanted to, he could just like say, you know what, I'm gonna live. Screw all of y'all.
Yeah, true.
I wonder if they're gonna go that direction.
He's not that much of a selfish character. I don't see him as that.
Sukuna though.
Sukuna. Oh, I want to hear more about Sukuna in the future, or Skuna, as
Yeah,
the
I'm so
Japanese
excited.
characters refer to him as. I wouldn't mind sharing a human body.
You know what I didn't
with
bring up last time? I
Sukuna.
really like the assistant character who doesn't have any like. Wait, does he have any powers? Right? He doesn't have any powers.
Who?
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Nope.
The guy is just like. I don't
I
know
forgot his
Oh,
name.
oh, the dead-looking guy. Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
The guy with the glasses who drives everyone around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
The true goat of the
Yes,
series.
the true goat of the series.
I'm sorry, like
I love him so much because it's so like.
He's great. Yeah,
it's
no,
great.
honestly, he's so underappreciated. You know,
Yeah.
like he keeps the show running.
He's best boy. I'm electing him as best boy.
But he's not as handsome
Yes.
as the other characters.
I don't care about that. He's got the biggest heart out of anybody. Okay.
Okay.
he is third best boy. First is Gojo, second is Todo, third is him.
So,
Maybe.
I actually have a question for Matt. If we're done talking about Panda, so how do you feel about like the characters explaining their strategies? Like, I'm actually curious what you think about it. Like,
yeah.
and if you don't like it, how do you think could be better? If you don't like it, but like, how do you feel about it?
I think it kind of depends. Sometimes it's like really obvious. Sometimes they like just kind of like pull it out of their ass. Sometimes it's like, because at this one, I felt like with Panda, like it kinda
Okay, so
helps
actually,
in that scenario, I don't know. Like,
let
what were you
me
gonna say?
clarify. Let me
Yeah.
clarify. So like when I say characters explaining their strategies, what I meant is like when Panda is like sitting there like thinking like, okay, this is what Mechamaru is thinking, this is how he's gonna act. Like, does that annoy you like as a, you know, or is that, or like does that annoy you, or do you like not have a problem with it?
In this episode, I was only like a little bit annoyed by it, but I don't think it was enough to be like distracted.
Okay.
I think I was distracted more in the other episodes where they do too much of it. I feel like Panda's more of also like an analytical character, so it made like a little bit sense for. I mean, I guess they technically all are, but like it. I'll say I think they could have done it better. I think they could have. I think that there's a way to be like. I think there's a way of showing it. I couldn't tell you how because I'm not like that good of a writer.
Okay, that's the main reason I'm asking. That's why I'm curious,
Yeah.
because like to me, I don't see any other way to do it but that way. So I was wondering like if you didn't, I had a feeling you might not like it, and if you didn't, like why, how do you think it could be
I feel like
done better?
I've seen it done better in other things. But
No, can
Okay.
I
JoJo's.
can I add
Yeah.
something to
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
Okay, so it's funny that you mentioned that in this episode specifically because this was the one episode that like it stuck out like a sore thumb to me. With like just pandas just standing there, and it's just the camera like moving around him a little bit, and then just his voice acting with the thoughts and analyzing the other Mechamaru and stuff like that, and I didn't like that at all. And it's
they've
really?
been doing that.
Yeah.
You see the reason why I didn't like get pissed off because they've been doing that the entire show.
Yeah, but like here's the thing with Panda, I think they could have handled that a little better because, I mean, from what I see it, they could have made it more, I guess, visually interesting because this was just Panda standing there, right? And although I understand analyzing takes a lot of like energy and stuff like that, and you have to technically stand still and animation, I think they could have done something where like in the way Demon Slayer was taking care of some of the analyzing of demons and stuff like that, like if they were to handle like attacking Muzan or something like that, you would have to like pinpoint areas on his body like the way they did with Panda about the 3 like curse energy in 3 specific spots. They could have zoomed in on those kind of specific things that they're analyzing, or like I don't know, made it more visually appealing in order to make it, I guess,
I see
more
what you're
tolerable.
saying. So your problem with it is more just how they did it, not necessarily with that storytelling device itself. Okay, gotcha.
I think
all right.
Usually that storytelling device can be done in better ways. I've definitely seen other media where they have fight scenes, and you can tell like a character is like studying the person that they're fighting and like adapting to their moves and learning from them. And you can like see the strategy that they use without them being like, here's the strategy that I'm using, and having them pause like for 2 minutes, like standing like in a pose.
If you have any after this, like send me some, because I'm actually really interested, because to me, as someone who also writes, I'm interested to see like what other ways. So yeah, okay.
Maybe it's more actions than words needed for these kind of scenes, unless it's a very specific kind of like analyzing, where it's analyzing of like, I don't know, previous actions of plot or something like that. And
I didn't nitpick this time.
Now, it also kind of goes into a whole pacing thing, because you can't have everything be at like a constant 10. Sometimes you need to have like those lows, and those like static analytical moments can be really useful to like give the audience a breathing, like a time to take a breath without just pausing the fight altogether. And it still keeps the show or the episode moving. They don't just like stop.
But it does pause the fight.
It could. Well, there's a difference. Like, take something like Naruto, where they will fight for a fair amount of time, stop to have a flashback, and then start the fight up again. With this, like in that method, you're fighting and then you just stop. You pause and you go on a tangent. With this, they're still fighting, but it slows down enough that the audience can breathe more.
I don't think you need that extra, like, breathing. I think there's enough before and after the fight to where you don't need to have it during the fight. That was the probably biggest problem I had with the last arc, was that when they were Glasses Guy and Mr. Kaisen were fighting weird smiley guy with the
descriptions.
I actually
like to me that was so annoying. I just wanted them to like do the fight, because the fight was like entertaining when they did fight, but then like every like move, it seems like afterwards they were like, here's what this character was doing. Yeah, they're really powerful. Here's what I do. Oh, they did something I didn't think they would do. Oh, it's like I can see that. I can see they look shocked that you did that move. I see that you did that move. You don't have to fucking tell me.
For me personally, I like that they do that, and I prefer it actually, because I like, for me, fight scenes can get boring like very quickly. If like there's a continuous like action scene that lasts like more than a minute, I'll probably get bored unless it's just the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. So I like it when it's like broken up rather than just like,
Well, they do that in Avatar. You like Avatar?
Yeah.
They don't do it in Avatar very often.
Yeah, Avatar is like not of this world, so Avatar is exempt. Like that's what I said. Like it has to be the most mind blowing thing, which Avatar is. So
Now, I will say this. A more worldly example would be God of High School. And that's mostly because I feel like with those fight scenes, there were a lot of moments where the characters were adapting and changing their tactics without just pausing in the middle of the fight. Of course, those fights were a lot faster in that series, and the rest of the series was essentially a train wreck into a monastery housing orphans on the biannual gas inflammable substance propane parade.
And I want to point out that, like, with the breaking kind of, like, moments to take a breath, quote-unquote, I think that is a technique that I'm going to agree with Matt doesn't need to be put in a 30-minute show. Because, in a sense, if you were to compare that 30-minute show to a movie or even, like, a chapter, like, of a short story or something like that, that technique of taking, like, breath away from, like, the main action and stuff like that is often used, like, not even in every chapter. It's used every, like, 2 to 3 chapters or so. For example, like, I don't know, Crime and Punishment with, like, sorry, I'm going to go into something that's not anime, but, like, really quickly of how there's an intense scene with Raskolnikov and, like, killing someone, but then to take a break away from it, they're going to move on to a different scene. But that's separated by chapters. So a 30-minute anime show is not gonna, I don't think it necessarily needs to take a breath in between fight scenes. Does that make sense?
Now, I will say this from the perspective of someone who has super monkey brain. Those moments where they're like stopping and explaining their super in-depth strategy makes me feel really, really, really smart.
Makes me feel like I'm a kid.
I think
like,
I think that's also actually like a big part of it for me too. Like I love to feel smart, and that's part of the reason why I love Hunter x Hunter so much, because that's like literally all they do, and I just feel like a genius when I understand, like, you know, when I can follow what they're talking about. So that might be part of it for me too.
Did that make you feel smart if you understood what like Komugi was doing with every single like Go character and what game were they playing? I don't know if it was Go or not. But like, did it make you? Are you into like those kind of like things where they understand the patterns?
No, because no one was getting punched in the face.
Okay.
Like I only feel smart when they're face punches.
That's also why I like stuff like Death Note, you know, and that kind of stuff, like mind games in general. Yeah,
I think Death Note. It's not fair because Death Note was one of the first anime I watched, so I might have just like completely, you know, went by all the like tropey
that
stuff.
Explains so
if you're going
much.
to say something bad
that
about
explains
if you're going
so
to say
much.
something bad about Death Note, you should just stop.
I'm not gonna say I love Death Note. I think it's one of my favorite anime.
Okay, cool.
But I feel like that's meant to be like a big brain like anime. Is there's doing a lot of like thinking because you have two very like smart people.
Okay,
going
just
at
real.
it.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, just a quick PSA on gateway anime. Just for all the folks at home who are thinking about trying to get friends into anime, if you introduce them, if their first gateway anime is Dragon Ball Z, you get me. If their first gateway anime is Death Note, you get Matt.
That's true.
Just real quick, just to let
I'm
you know.
kind of curious now. What about other like? What was your first anime?
Technically Pokemon, but I really consider my first anime that I knew was anime is Naruto.
Oh, okay. So you're one of those people.
Makes sense.
Wait, okay. What do you mean
Makes
one of those
sense.
people?
You know how Dee was talking about how each character, whatever is your starter anime, that's gonna define your character right now.
Yeah.
You're one of them.
Yeah, and it's because Naruto Part 1 especially was very like not soup. It was tactical. It was tactical than most. So and I like that. I like that a lot. That's also why I like JoJo a lot, especially Part 2, and Death Note, obviously, like I said.
Wait, Death Note wasn't my favorite. My first. Sorry, Death Note wasn't my first. Soul Eater was my first. Then I watched Death Note right after.
Wow.
Soul
okay,
Eater.
that changes
I
things.
love that.
That makes even more sense.
So
I haven't seen Soul Eater.
Really strong.
So I haven't seen Soul Eater,
Yeah.
but Soul Eater does not seem like Matt's type of anime. So
I loved it when I watched it. I think just because of how stylized it is, and it's just really fun. I might not like it. I might have not liked it if I watched it like now and I didn't watch it before.
Yeah.
But I think because it was my start, I really liked it. So
what about you, Cecile?
So just remember, everyone, if you start off with Dragon Ball Z, you get monkey brain. If you start off with Naruto, you get human brain. And if you start off with Death Note, you get Among Us brain.
Wait, what about me?
Yeah, what about you? What about you, Cecile?
Oh wait, My first anime that I got into was Another, which is a horror anime.
Oh, that explains a lot
Boom.
too.
Yeah, Edgelord.
That explains the 6 fingers. Yeah.
He's the edgelord.
Okay, I will say this about Soul Eater. I hated its ending. The anime ending. I heard there was more in the manga.
Oh, the manga ending.
Don't
is
let
so
let's
good.
not.
Way more.
I intend to read Soul Eater or watch it someday.
Okay.
Read it, read it.
The anime ending
manga's
just
so
ends
good.
abruptly. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
finish.
I heard that. Yeah.
It's so shit.
So, one more thing I wanted to say about Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know if you guys have other things you want to say, but for me, I actually think I would have liked. I know it's still kind of early on in the arc, I guess, but I want to see them actually compete more for the objective. You know, if it just turns out to be like, it seems like next episode is going to be Miwa versus Maki. I'm guessing. If it just turns out to be like
I'm
a
so
bunch
excited.
of yeah, me too. But if it turns out to be just a bunch of like 1v1 fights, I think the arc is kind of gonna fall flat for me. I know I'm still expecting Geto. I'm still expecting Geto and Mahito and all the other cursed spirits to show up and like ruin the party. And that should spice it up. But like I really do actually want to see them compete for the objective rather than just fight, you know.
I think you guys forget
See,
that. Okay,
that's-
sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, like, that's part of the reason why this is this is going to be a super controversial opinion, but I have never been a big fan of tournament arcs
Wow.
in anime. And I think this is the first tournament arc where I'm really hyped and really enjoying because it's unpredictable.
Wait, does that mean you hated the
But-
tower arc from Hunter x Hunter? If you say
I wasn't hyped for it.
it may not be the best arc,
Like-
how dare you?
I stand by that because it was just linear fights. Like, if you look at take My Hero, for example. It was just literally fight after linear fight after linear fight after linear fight. With this, there are no brackets. The rules are pretty much out the window from the get-go. It's just a battle royale and anything goes, and it's way more entertaining for me because it's like,
You don't.
what's going to happen next?
It's the
That
opposite
kind
for
of makes
me.
sense. Because, with this kind of tournament that we're seeing with the 1v1s and stuff like that, it kind of reminds me of, like, Persona 4 Arena, like the video game itself. And so, in a sense, it's like you're choosing your favorite characters to fight off your other favorite character. Of course, it's going to be more hype
Right.
in some sense.
But with other things like a lot of the tournament arcs in Dragon Ball, or even Naruto to a sense. See, Naruto did it well. That did it good where every single round was a different location and a different semi-set of rules, and that spiced it up a lot. Whereas My Hero stayed in the same location, the stakes were really low, and a lot of the characters you just didn't really care about, and you didn't, like, there weren't that many surprises. With this, we've only had a fairly vague idea of their powers, and now we're just seeing them on, like, full display. Like, we're finally seeing the full extent of what these characters can do, and it's way more sort of engaging. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, did you guys have any last things you wanted to say? I mean, we have two of the ratings.
Yes, actually, yes. Sorry. I'm going to do this really quickly because I know you guys were talking about shonen, but we need to talk about the shoujo aspect of this. Mechamaru has a crush on Miwa.
I noticed
what?
that. I noticed that, yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about?
It is canon.
Yes. Yes.
How? Where? Where was that shown?
Okay, first...
Okay, so
yeah,
first, she was his last, like, flashback, and when they were, like, talking about them, like, him being able to, like, finally be a part of the group and hang out with them in person, she was the first person who appeared to him.
That's it?
Yeah. No,
Okay, I'm
that's not
I'm
it.
so annoyed with you guys because you guys
No.
will like
No,
look
no.
at there'll be
Let me
like
finish.
hold on.
Let me finish.
Okay, yeah.
The manga. You are incorrect, sir, because
Oh,
the
God.
answers are in the manga. And in the manga, they emphasized more of a connection with not his classmates, actually. They didn't mention the classmates. He was focusing on Miwa. as a specific scene and talking about, I wish I was able to walk out of here right now and go see her.
Okay.
They didn't say her, but like
Fair,
it was a photo of her.
Fair enough. But you still, based on this episode alone, yes, Cecile, you can know that because you read the manga, but based off this episode alone, you can't judge that just because she was like the first person that showed up. And like,
yes, you can.
why is hold on.
Like,
why is it that you guys will just blatantly ignore clear evidence that Yuji's parents are important to the story, but then this tiny little thing, oh, Mia was the first person he saw in a flashback. Oh, it's a crush. Like, what? That makes no sense.
I've seen enough anime to know that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Also, imagine your romantic rival being Gojo.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be so nice if like
you're like in a tub of like red fluid with like one arm, and your romantic rival is like the most powerful like
Wouldn't it be cool if he turned into like his life goal to defeat Gojo so he can like take Mila away from her? That would be cool.
Well, I don't think Gojo even knows that. Like,
yeah, that would make it even funnier. Like,
yeah, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
See, I would.
He's
watch
constantly.
That anime. I would watch that.
Like,
anime.
okay, like Gojo is just like sleeping, at night, and then Mechamaru shows up and just starts blasting him with his ultimate cannon.
And Gojo's like, oh, some late night training. How thoughtful of you.
Yeah.
It's like always just really. That's why I agree with Dalton, where this class would make a much more entertaining show than.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Devil's Advocate, Miwa is probably like the only member of his class who wasn't a psychopath.
Okay, there's nothing psychopathic about Momo. I don't know what you guys have against her. She's like.
Oh, I don't know enough about her to care. Like, I don't know.
So annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, Momo.
Yeah.
Okay, Momo.
Momo's fine.
Those two.
Yeah.
Okay. But she, like, I feel like if I was in that class, Miwa would probably be the only person I would be friends with.
I would be friends with Mechamaru. I think I would make good friends with Mechamaru.
Easily. Yeah. Okay, easily. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Who would be
and
your
Toto,
best friend?
I would.
Oh yeah, Toto.
I would definitely want Toto. Like, if
friend.
I would do my best to live up to Toto's standards, like in terms of my taste, so that he could, so he could want to be friends with me, because I would love to be friends with Toto. But yeah.
Well, apparently you gotta like girls with big ass.
Yeah.
Unless you do.
Already.
I think yeah.
What a mood.
Okay, again, like, why is it that I want to be friends with the members of the rival class? Like,
totally agree. The Kyoto school cast is more interesting, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, the only character really in the Tokyo school who like I always want to see more of
Panda
is Nobara for me. That's the only one. She's and Panda of course. Nobara and Panda, but like everyone else, I'm not
too
that
boring. I don't know enough about Maki yet. I'm sorry.
She's so cool.
Yuji is only interesting like when he's interacting with someone else who's also kind of out there, but like Nobara can hold her own, and so can Panda, and that's why I like them, in my opinion.
To me, when you have a class that's like too friendly with each other, like, well, what's the point? They're already like like I like kind of like seeing the growth of people.
There has to be, I agree with you. I think there should be like some tension. Like, Kyoto School is like they all hate each other pretty much.
Yeah, and I like that. I like how they just hate each other. Like when they pulled a prank. Oh, here's another evidence for the whole ship. When they pulled a prank on Miwa, and they gave her like batteries to give to Mechamaru. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, okay, that's not evidence either. That's just random. Like, you guys are just pulling stuff out of your ass. Like, yeah.
I don't know, but I kind of like the interaction where they're like pulling pranks on each other and stuff like that.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Okay, so Matt, score.
Oh, for this episode. Did you say yours?
No, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, since you're the most right on my screen.
I would give it 7 out of 10.
Shame.
I would also give it.
Same? I thought you gave it a 10.
What?
7.
I thought you gave it a 10.
Oh, shame.
Oh.
Okay. The reason I give it a 7 is because for me, honestly, the Mechamaru thing really drew back the episode for me. For me, the thing that made the episode good was Panda, seeing more of Panda, and then the animation was awesome. But the Mechamaru, if Mechamaru's like whole situation had been better, it would have probably at least been an 8. But yeah.
Okay, you saying that made me realize how much I appreciate the Mechamaru thing. show, I'm gonna give it 7.5. I think that's higher than the last one. I do like this episode better. I feel like there was a glimpse into a more interesting show that I don't think we're gonna get. Not saying that I don't like this show. I just think it could be better in certain areas. But I feel like that's sort of like the character about both Mechamaru and Panda like are very interesting, and I don't think the rest of the cast is gonna follow that. But so 7.5, I guess.
All right. So, any final comments from anybody?
Nope, I'm good.
Wait, did D and Cecilia give ratings?
Yeah, they gave 10.
You rated earlier on.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 10 out of 10s. Yeah.
All right. So that's been our review of episode 16 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Thank you so much for watching, and come back next week.
We hate you. Go away.
Love you. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
Send hate towards Cecilia.
What?
And Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
And Matt, he's the one. He's the one who
What?
hates all this. So like,
No, guys, I'm the coolest member of this podcast.